For thousands of years, long before modern sealants, varnishes, or pressure-treated lumber, people still built barns, carts, fences, ships, and homes out of wood, and somehow much of that wood survived centuries. How? Not with chemicals, not with paint, but with a surprisingly simple, natural moisture barrier that almost no modern gardener or homesteader uses today. This forgotten technique didn't just reduce wood rot, it practically stopped it. It was cheap, widely available, and incredibly effective. Yet today, it's been overshadowed by synthetic products that often cost more, don't last as long, and introduce chemicals you might not want near your soil, animals, or garden beds. So what was this ancient secret? A charred wood moisture barrier, what we now call the shusugi-ban, or carbonized wood method. You're about to learn why this old-world technique works so well, why it's making a comeback among gardeners and DIY builders, and how to apply it today to protect your raised beds, fence posts, garden structures, tools, and outdoor wood from rotting, naturally. Back in medieval times, builders stumbled upon something pretty remarkable. Turns out wood that's been impregnated with charcoal holds up against moisture, pests, fungus, and decay a whole lot better than just plain old raw wood. Now they sure didn't have propane torches back then, but they did have fire, and they knew how to put it to good use. The process was really simple. First, they'd lightly burn the surface of the wood, making a blackened, carbon-rich outer layer. Then, they'd brush away any loose soot, but leave that charcoal layer right where it was. Finally, they'd oil the surface with whatever natural oils they had on hand. Could be linseed, animal fat, or even tallow. This charred layer, well, it acted just like armor. Water couldn't soak through it all that easily. Fungi really struggled to take hold on the surface. Insects didn't care much for that carbonized exterior either, and as a bonus, the wood ended up a whole lot more resistant to sun and weathering. So, the result? Barn doors lasted decades longer, fence posts stayed sound, tool handles, well, they resisted moisture and cracking. And garden structures held up under rain, snow, and humidity. These days, this technique has been rediscovered as a durable, eco-friendly wood preservation method, but gardeners especially should take note, because, honestly, rot is one of the biggest issues we face with raised beds, trellises, borders, compost bins, and tool storage. Most modern wood protectants form an external film that sooner or later cracks, peels, or washes off. Charred wood is different. You know, the protection becomes part of the wood itself. It's not just on the surface, it's deep in there, really part of the material. Charcoal is naturally water repellent, and, well, carbonized wood slows down absorption dramatically, making it much more resistant to water getting in. Fungi just can't easily digest carbonized fibers. The organisms that cause rot, they rely on cellulose and lignin, but after charring, those parts are a whole lot harder for them to break down. Insects avoid the scorched surface. Termites, beetles, and ants, well, they all prefer softer, untreated fibers. The method requires no chemicals. It's safe around vegetables, pets, and kids, just perfect for garden applications. It increases wood's lifespan by decades. Studies and, well, traditional construction both show that charred wood can last anywhere from 50 to 80 years outdoors. For gardeners who are trying to make their beds and structures last longer, this really is a game changer. You don't need a forge or any medieval tools. Modern versions are honestly pretty easy. For raised garden beds, it's a good idea to char the inside surface of the boards before assembling. This protects the areas in direct contact with moist soil. For fence posts, burn the bottom 1 to 2 feet, the underground section, until it's blackened. This dramatically slows rot underground. With compost bin panels, remember, moisture plus microbes equals fast rot. Charring adds years to your bin's lifespan. A lightly charred and oiled hoe or rake handle absorbs less water, which helps prevent cracks and mold. Trellises and vertical garden frames, well, anything exposed to rain and humidity, really benefits from a charcoal shield. So, here's the quick modern method. Go ahead and use a propane torch to gently burn the wood until it turns a nice matte black. Now just brush the surface with a stiff brush to get rid of any loose char. Next, wipe it down to remove all the dust. After that, apply a natural oil, like raw linseed oil, tongue oil, or even beeswax if you have it handy. Let it soak in and cure before you move on to assembling everything. Well, the process is fast, surprisingly satisfying, and it creates a beautiful, rustic finish. Because, well, everyone wants wood that lasts longer. Fewer chemicals in the garden, that's a big one. Cost-effective solutions too, low-maintenance structures and, methods that work with nature. The medieval moisture barrier is all of that, and more. It's ancient technology that solves modern problems without any real complexity. If you're tired of replacing garden beds every few years, or watching beautiful wood structures crumble from rot, it might be time to take a lesson from medieval builders. The charred wood moisture barrier is simple, elegant, natural, and incredibly effective. This isn't just a trick, it's old world wisdom rediscovered, and your garden will thank you for using it.